Previously on You, Me, and Wall Street.
In 2010 and from now on, that rule is going to be eliminated. And there's about $1.4 trillion of IRA money held by people who make over $100,000 that on January 1st of 2010 will be able to convert that over to their Roth. You could put $50,000 in our scenario, that thing drops down to 20, you have 21 and a half months to move it back, erase what you did, and then turn right around and put in the lower amount and pay less tax. And if it drops again, if it drops from 20 to 10, recharacterize it again.
Unlock the mystery of investing and gain the knowledge you need to improve your investment decisions. It's time for You, Me, and Wall Street. Now, here's your host, Steve Kiefer.
Hello, smart investors, and welcome to You, Me, and Wall Street. Let me ask you a couple of questions. How would you like to be able to read your statement that you get from your advisor every month and understand it? Well, tonight we're going to show you how you can read and understand your statement, because folks, there are parts of that statement that you need to know about and you're overlooking it because you don't understand it. We're going to solve that tonight. Second thing is, how would you like to be able to invest in the market and do it in a way that doesn't lower your comfort level? And as a matter of fact, if the market drops, it will raise your comfort level. Impossible? I don't think so. You'll find out tonight. Let's go to work. You know, there's a term called DCA, and it stands for dollar cost averaging. It's a very simple concept, but very few people understand it, and even fewer people use it. Tonight, I'm going to illustrate exactly what it is, exactly what it does, and how it can help you make money without adding to your original investment amount. And here's how we're going to do it. Dollar cost averaging. What in the world is it? Actually, more importantly, what does it do? Let me see if I can illustrate this for you. I'm going to start with making some titles. And first thing we're going to do is make three different categories. The first one is the number, or actually the amount of money that you have to invest. And let's say it's $6,000. You got $6,000 you want to put in the market. Now, since we call it dollar cost averaging, we're not going to lump that whole $6,000 into the market at once. We're going to do it in pieces. And let's say we're going to do it over 6 months. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the exact same amount of money in over 6 months. Well, that means we're going to put $1,000 a month into the market, and we're going to do it on the same day each month. So there's no emotion involved. I don't care what the news says that day. I don't care what the market does that day. You're going to put $1,000 into your chosen investments every month for 6 months until the $6,000 is gone. That's our first category. Our second category is going to be the share price. What is it costing you to buy the investment of your choice? What's the value of it that day? It's going to change, it's going to fluctuate. And as I said earlier, that's good news. And then finally, the third category is going to be the number of shares. How many shares did that $1,000 purchase on the day you started doing your dollar cost averaging? Okay, let's begin. We put in $1,000 our first month, and let's say the cost of the share that you bought was $100 per share. So that means we divide 1,000 by 100, you bought 10 shares of that investment for that month. And you wait till the next day, let's say we're doing it on the 15th. The next month, when it hits the 15th, you put another 1,000 in. Let's say that stock is what would be a good example, is what we're buying. Let's say it dropped down to $90 a share. Are you nervous? The market went down. You shouldn't be, because you just now have an opportunity to buy more shares for less money. Because $90 a share, $1,000 of it will buy 11.1 shares. You now have purchased 1.1 more shares with the exact same amount of money. Let's go to month number 3. The market took a big jump, and so the cost of that stock is $120 a share. Now, most people would be excited about that, but since you're dollar cost averaging, you only bought 8.3 shares. You didn't buy as much because they were more expensive. But here's a hidden benefit, folks. Don't be unhappy when you get less shares. What this is doing, it's also keeping you from putting all your money into shares that are too expensive. So it basically caps how many expensive shares you're going to buy. And that's just as important as buying shares while they're down. We buy more shares while they're down, and we buy fewer shares when they're up, which means we have less ownership of expensive shares. We're doing great. Next month, the market goes up again. The shares are $150 a share. Now we're only able to buy 6.7 shares. But again, remember, we have few shares that were expensive. We have 10 shares and 11.1 shares that were cheap, and now we have 8.3 and 6.7 shares that were expensive. And let's say the next one, it just hits the ceiling. I mean, it blows through, and that stock costs it's doubled in price. It costs $200 a share. We put our 1,000 in, it only buys 5 shares. So again, we bought less shares because they were more expensive, so we didn't put all $6,000 into a $200 per share investment. And then the last month, month number 6, the stock drops to $150 a share, and we're able to put back in able to buy 6.7% of shares. Now, what in the world, Steve, does all this mean? Well, let's start adding up our columns. First of all, of course, the money we put in over 6 months, $1,000 a month, means we invested $6,000. Now, let's look at that middle column for just a moment. We are going to add up the share price, the individual share price of what the shares cost each month for those 6 months. And if you add that column up, it's going to come out to $810. Now, that's not a relevant number right now, but it will be in just a moment, so bear with me. And then the third column, the number of shares. How many shares did our $6,000 buy? It bought 47.8, or almost 48 shares were purchased over 6 months with $6,000. Yes, this is an expensive stock, but just bear with me. Now, we're going to start by taking the average share cost, which of course is $6,000. That's how much it cost you to invest. And we're going to divide it by the number of shares you purchased. So 6,000, which is what you spent, divided by 47.8, which is the number of shares you have, comes out to $125.52. Keep that number in mind. That is the average share cost. Next, we're going to get the average share price. So let's take that $810 that we got from the middle column and divide it by the number of months that we invested. We're getting our average now. That comes out to $135 even. Stay with me, folks. This is going to make sense here in just a moment. So what it cost you to buy that share was $125.52. But the average cost of that share was $135. Now, what's $135 minus $125.52? It's $9.48. Folks,